find more, you can visit srclexington.com or follow on Facebook at SRC of Lexington. SRC is proud to support Radio Lex, the voice of the people.
You are listening to Soft Serve, a sweet set of smooth jazz to ease off the edges of your day.
Her hair is hollow gold, her lips sweet surprise. Her hands are never cold. She's got that Davis eyes to turn the music on. You won't have to think twice. She's pure as New York snow. She's got that Davis eyes, and she teases you, she unneeds you, all better just to please.
You're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people. WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
I swear by the moon and the stars in the skies, and I swear like the shadow that's by your side. I see the questions in your eyes. I know what's weighing on your mind. You can be sure I know my heart, 'cause I stand beside you through the years. You're only right.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
What's up, Caleb Hall?
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app to listen to the show anywhere in the entire world. Amber Turner is broadcasting from her home in Lexington, and I am broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a little upset with myself because, when we were in studio.
I always forget to turn your mic on because of this
whole
whole thing.
No.
There she is. How are you,
Hey,
Amber?
everybody. I'm a little upset with myself because, when we're in studio, normally I have got the intro down like to a T. I know exactly what you're going to say when you're going to say it with, our intro portion. And I feel like I am slacking so much because you're changing it up on me, baby, making me look bad.
So last week I opened the show talking about our intro music, and I was telling everybody kind of the backstory about why we have the intro music that we have, because people were breathing down my neck saying, hey, you can't be stealing people's music like that for the intro of your show. So I went and created my own intro for the show. And the reason I bring it back up today is because I had a whole point last week when I brought it up, and I meant to play you, Amber, because they sent me a couple of drafts of what the intro could be for the show.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play to the audience the draft that the company that made the intro music for Off the Cuff, I want to play you the intro music that they sent to me. And they said, here you go, Adam, we think that this song suits Off the Cuff perfectly. And I want you, the listeners, to be the judge to tell me if we should start using this song. Take a listen. And there you go. when he sent me that, I was a little speechless, Amber. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know how to respond to that.
I think I'm gonna say that I think I have the same expression. I am so thrilled with what we ended up with. I think we have a good intro.
And we're going to keep it for as long as we until I get tired of it, or Amber makes me get rid of it, because she's usually will press on to me until I do something. But there's the backstory of the off the cuff intro music. But ladies and gentlemen, we talked about also last week online learning. Kids were starting. I've been seeing pictures online of kids starting their first day of virtual school. It is the most depressing thing I've ever seen, because these kids, could they look any more depressed and sad, Amber?
Oh, I don't think not a one of them looks sad and depressed, because they're all in their little pajamas with their little shirts on. And I've seen a lot of people are setting up little areas, but I do know that there are definitely some kids that are missing school. I actually think today one of my girlfriends told me her little boy said that she was picking him up too early from school. Did you ever tell your parents they were picking you up too early from school?
No, I mean, unless we were having a really, really good day, maybe a party day or something like that. That's the only time they ever pick me up too early. But
And now,
But
and now look, they do.
But schools across the state pretty much open virtually, and they've had some problems, especially up in Jefferson County with their public school system, Amber. They've had some problems out of the youngins. Apparently, they tried to do their online learning synchronous, meaning you meet live at a particular time with your teacher, and you sit in front of the computer, and they have virtual learning live.
No.
Well, Jefferson County high schools did that, and the students, the kids were being kids, but they started smoking. Well, I don't know. I don't know if kids were like this when I was younger, and Amber, you was younger, but this is what the kids were doing. They were smoking pot on camera during class. I mean, just lit up a big...
Wait, hang on. Somebody was smoking pot on virtual learning?
Yes, somebody started... A kid was smoking a blunt while learning from his teacher. Also, you had students giving the password to log into the class to other students that didn't go to school there.
Why would anybody, literally, please answer this question for me, because I feel like we've talked about this twice now. Why would somebody want to get on to online learning if, like, legit, you're not getting credit for it?
Oh,
like, legit, you're not getting anything for it.
To raise cane. To legitimately just get on to raise cane and smoke a blunt.
Okay.
But they were doing that. The Jefferson County teachers had enough. They quit, and they said, we're not doing it for the rest of the week. We need to come up with another plan. So they went back to the drawing board, and the superintendent was basically saying, and just from his statement, he was pretty much said that they're going to switch from Google Meet to Microsoft Teams, which would be better secure for keeping students that don't belong out of there. And they also relate to the parents to remind their kids that they can't be acting like that. And I was like, yeah, really? Where's the parents at in situations like this? I know that parents are off to work and their kids are being left home to learn, because when they leave for work, the kids just stuck at home on the computer learning. But did those kids not know that marijuana leaves behind an odor, that when their parents walk in the door, they're going to be able to smell it? Or is this something that's just common in their house?
I just think, like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when that, like, phone call was made. Like, hello, Mrs. Smith. Did you know little Johnny was smoking some reefer today during third period?
They were also sending sexually explicit
Are
photographs.
you serious?
Yes.
What?
So,
Children, what is going on in y'all's mind?
for anybody who thought that you could contain and make virtual students sit there and behave at that age, you got another thing coming. It's going to be tough. And I'm worried about our kids. I'm worried about our teenagers. Amber, the behavior of teenagers, even here in Lexington, has been erratic.
Outrageous.
Just in the last week or so, we've had 3 or 4 shootings. 4 shootings that involved in death. And anybody that lives around here, and maybe, I don't know if this made national news or not, but the Fayette Mall had a shooting, and it happened around 4 p.m. on Sunday, August the 23rd. 3 people were shot near the Bath and Body Works store. Amber, the Fayette Mall, a place that I've been, a place that you've been, a place that we've been several times. It's a very eerie feeling knowing that now someone has been literally shot inside of there and has been killed.
Exactly.
We could literally walk past that Bath and Body Works now and walk over where that body laid. That's scary that happened. And the victim was only 17 years old. So there was 2 other victims, a 41-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl. They suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The police say that it was not an active shooter, so it was not a random act where somebody just went into a mall and just started blowing people away. Thank God it wasn't that. So the situation was apparently 2 people who knew each other already.
Yeah.
And they had some words, a verbal confrontation, and then the victim got shot and unfortunately died. When I was a kid, we used to handle our problems a little bit different.
With our fists.
With our fists. When we wanted to settle situations, we would meet after school and duke it out.
Yes.
And then after the fight, the problem and the issue was over.
Gone.
But
It was over with.
That's not how kids are dealing with problems these days. They're shooting each other.
And that's just like, how did we make it to this? Like, I know that when we were growing up, fighting happened all the time. How many times were we sitting in homeroom and we would see, a scuffle break out, and we didn't even glimpse because, well, I mean, we would, because everybody'd start yelling fight, which was always fun back then. But now it's like, what are these children doing that they're bringing out guns?
Right.
Like, they're bringing guns into these things that, and again, I don't ever want to like downplay like physical violence, because physical violence is never okay. But you know what? We've all been kids. We all do know what it's like. And I think that we should probably educate our children that there are going to be things that happen in this world that, when you are younger, you might have to be, you're going to have to defend yourself. How many times did your parents tell you to defend yourself? Don't start nothing, but defend yourself if it happens.
Right.
How do these children defend themselves against a loaded live gun? You can't.
I know, and it goes back to the whole parenting thing. Police say that the mall was placed on lockdown, with patrons and employees being evacuated and deemed safe as officers went store to store, securing the area and looking for the suspects. I try to picture that in my head, being at a place that's on lockdown, knowing what could happen. I can only imagine how those people felt. And if anyone is listening that was there at the mall that day, call into the show. I want to hear your story if you want to call in. And that's 859-721-5690. And I will be screening the calls for anyone who thinks about pranking the show today. But yes, call in. I want to hear that story if you were there. The road finally opened back up around Nicholasville Road at 10 p.m. And they found the guy who did it. His name was Xavier Harden, 19 years old. So, again, another teenager.
It's 2 lives completely lost at such a young age.
He was charged with murder and 2 counts of assault of first degree. He is lodged in the Fayette County Detention Center. And this kid who died, his name was Bottoms. Was it Kenneth Bottoms?
Kenneth Bottoms.
Kenneth Bottoms. And he became the 3rd teenager killed up to that point. And then a 4th died right after that. And you heard about the basketball player from Tate's Creek getting shot, dead. You heard about 2 other kids getting shot, dead. And are these cases related anyway? Because I've been hearing different things. I've been hearing that some of these deaths are related with one another, which is even scarier. Because that means that kids are actively in gangs here in Fayette County.
Well, that just means, like, if there is a relation, I mean, how do you combat, gun violence? And I know that how we would combat it, with adults, but how do you combat that with children? Like, as a 17-year-old child, because yes, I don't care who you are still a child when you're 17 years old. How are they supposed to I mean, I guess I can understand. Again, I hate to even remotely say that I understand physical violence, but I just don't understand how we're supposed to prepare these children to come up against gunfire. We've got enough going on when we have these crazy lunatics that go in there and shoot up these babies. And now we've got babies shooting babies. Something has to happen to where they understand, like, these irrational decisions are permanent.
Yeah, these kids in gangs, it goes back to kids not being involved in anything. Kids need to be involved. They need to be out in school. They need to be socializing. They need to be in a sport, in a club, doing some type of hobby, because when they're left to just wander around aimlessly, things like this happen. And it's there's no place in the world for it. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. Stick with us. We'll be right back after these words.
Hi, I'm Lane from Life in the Fast Lane, and you're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LPFM.
Yo, what up, Devin Collins?
You have questions about the 2020 census, and we have answers. Let's go to caller number 1.
Well, what is it?
Good question. It's a simple questionnaire that counts everyone living at your address on April 1st. Next caller?
So why should I take it?
Because it guides how billions in funding gets used each year for things like clinics, fire stations, public transit, and so much more. Caller 3, go ahead.
What's it have to do with representation?
Well, your state's population determines the number of seats it has in the U.S. House of Representatives for the next 10 years. Next?
How do you take it?
Just look for an invitation in the mail starting March 2020. Then complete it online, by phone, or by mail. Let's go to our final caller.
Is my information safe?
Yes, it can't be shared with anyone. It's the law. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
Radio Lex has the support of Doodle's Breakfast and Lunch. Locally owned and operated since 2009, Doodle serves locally sourced eggs, bacon, and more. A percentage of each Thursday's sales are donated to the Nest Center for Women, Children, and Families. Patio seating available spring through fall. Breakfast, lunch, and adult beverages are served Tuesday through Sunday from 8 to 2. Located at 3rd and Lime. You can learn more at doodleslex.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you, broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber is broadcasting from her home in Lexington. Just like the Democratic convention, the Republicans had their own convention, started on August the 24th, and it will end tonight, August the 27th. Just some key takeaways of the Republican convention. Daniel Cameron was there. He is the 34-year-old Attorney General. And what stood out to me, because I've been watching this Republican convention, and what stood out to me was the thing that Daniel Cameron said to Joe Biden. He said, because remember Joe Biden, he said, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Remember when Joe Biden said that?
Unfortunately, I've been trying to forget it.
Well, Daniel Cameron said, Mr. Vice President, look at me. I am black. We are not all the same, sir. I am not in chains. My mind is my own, and you can't tell me how to vote because of the color of my skin.
I think that was a perfect response.
Perfect response. So that was a key takeaway. Of course, Melania Trump, and I did a whole topic on First Ladies last week. But the First Lady, the current First Lady, Melania Trump, she spoke, and I think she did well. I think she represented the country and her husband well, because what Melania Trump has that her husband Donald don't is empathy. Mm-hmm. And Melania really, it came through during the convention. She talked about the ability to identify with struggles and dreams and setbacks and victories of the average person because of how she grew up and how she is now. So I thought her speech came across really good. There was people like Rand Paul spoke. He's also a senator from Kentucky. Tiffany Trump spoke. She is the current first kid of our nation. Tiffany, of course, is the daughter of Donald Trump and the daughter of Martha Maples, the woman that Trump had an affair with all those years ago. But she actually did really well during her speech. She wasn't the only first kid to speak, but I think that of all the first kids, she gave the best speech. She said, our nation suffers by inhibiting our diversity of thought and inclusion of ideas. Working together outside of our political comfort zones will accomplish so much more. And she was saying that because she's saying that we have to understand that we've got to be okay with saying things that aren't going to be popular. And she's saying that even if it does put you out of your comfort zone and it makes you have a different thought on diversity and inclusion, it's okay to speak about your own thoughts of diversity and inclusion because it is the United States of America. So I thought she come across really good, and it just, I mean, all of his kids really do. I mean, he's got good kids. Barron Trump was there, Ivanka, Donald Trump Jr., they were all there. So, Amber, I talked about first ladies. I talked about vice presidents.
Yeah.
Now, this week, I'd like to talk about the first kid.
The Disney movie?
No, not the Disney movie, which was great, by the way, with Sinbad.
Yes. What was your favorite part of that movie? I'm so curious. I hope it's the same as mine.
When they put the snake on him and he was trying to get the snake off.
When they dance. When he's trying to teach him how to dance. That's my favorite part. That is so... sorry. You got me on that one.
That's a great movie. Sinbad's
a great movie.
Might be one of his best roles ever.
Was that not his only role ever, really?
It's the only movie I could actually... No, he was in Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was just hating on Sinbad.
But Barron Trump is currently living in the White House. He is the first kid. And really, I consider first kids as kids that are living in the White House while their dad is president. Because there's a lot of kids of the presidents, most of them have children, but a lot of them are grown by the time they take office. I consider first kids the kids that live in the White House while their dad is president. So Barron Trump was there. That kid is extremely tall. They say he's 6'2" already at his age. Yeah. I don't know if he has a better life as first kid or if he would have had a better life just as Donald Trump's just rich son, because he has his own floor in a Manhattan penthouse. Did you know that? Barron Trump.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's bilingual like his mommy.
Okay.
He's an uncle. He's the first son in the White House to live in the White House since JFK Jr., Amber. He likes to play golf like his daddy, and they often call him Little Donald. So Barron Trump is living in the White House, but just some first kids throughout time, Amber. There's been some that have... Because the first kid of the United States, they're in the public eye just as much as their parents.
Oh, yes.
They dictate fashion. They dictate trends. They appear on their parents' behalf at embassies around the world. And sometimes the first kid hosts their own senior prom in the White House East Room. How cool would it be
know that.
if you had a classmate that was the first kid of the U.S. and you had your prom in the East Wing?
I mean, we know nothing about that life because ours was in the gym, so let's carry on.
Some famous first kids, though. You got John F. Kennedy Jr. JFK Jr. they've said for a long time that the Kennedys have been cursed.
Yes.
And JFK died on that plane crash just because he flew his own planes and he was flying his was it his wife and his sister-in-law around somewhere?
I know it was his wife.
Yeah.
I know his wife was in there.
Yeah, and then they crashed that plane into the ocean. And did they ever find the bodies?
I don't think so, because I feel like when I started looking into it, because everybody's obsessed with the Kennedys, I wanted to look into them too. And I feel like when I did, I found like this very morbid story that the bodies were never located. So I formulated in my head that like his body was still like attached in the airplane chair, and that was just too much. And now I'll put that out there into the world.
Jenna Bush Hager is an also notable first kid. She spent a lot of time sneaking out of the White House when she lived there, ditching the Secret Service. She's known for that.
How did she sneak out?
Who knows? I'm sure it wasn't as easy as it was for you when you snuck out. Chelsea Clinton is another one. She was the daughter of Bill and Hillary Clinton. She was codenamed Energy, and she left college at the age of 17, but she said that her time at the White House was ordinary in a lot of ways, but she never lost sight of how extraordinary it was either. Malia and Sasha Obama, kids that lived in the White House, they were kind of kids that were very tame, good kids.
Yes,
never
very
heard
good
anything
kids.
bad about them. Amy Carter was a young girl that lived in the White House with her dad, Jimmy Carter. There have also been some wild first children.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
Alice Roosevelt was the poster child for wild presidential children, Amber. She was the daughter of Teddy Roosevelt. They said that she lived a party-heavy life, and she used to walk around with a snake on her shoulders like they did in the movie First Kid.
Like they did in the First Kid, okay.
Yeah, and they said she was a hellion. Alice Roosevelt.
I mean, I dig it.
Quentin Roosevelt was just like his father as well, and they said that he could be often seen roller skating around the White House. He would often throw snowballs at the Secret Service and would like to play war games at the White House during World War I.
Oh, well, okay.
Irvin McDonald Garfield, he was the son of President James Garfield. They said that he was very rambunctious and liked to ride his bike down the White House steps, which was a huge no-no.
Oh, well.
Patty Davis was the daughter of Ronald Reagan. She posed for Playboy.
Okay.
I gotta get a
I
copy
wonder
of that.
if that was pre or post presidency.
I would say it was probably after she lived in the White House.
Probably.
Yeah.
I bet it's got like some whole patriotic theme to it.
I
That
just
would be
want-
such a waste if they didn't do that.
I also wonder too, though, if that Playboy sold as many copies as the Sable Playboy did in 1998.
I knew that's where we were going.
Some first kid facts, Amber. It says these children have the opportunity to live in the White House, travel the world, and meet famous people. But here are some first kid facts for you. These children, they let's see, as of August 2020, there are 31 presidential children that are living.
Okay.
The oldest is Linda Bird Johnson, who was the daughter of Lyndon B. Johnson, and the youngest is Barron Trump, who currently lives in the White House now. Two presidential children, John Quincy Adams and George W. Bush, have become president in their own right. John Scott Harrison is the only person to be both the child and the parent of a U.S. president, being the son of William Henry Harrison and the father of Benjamin Harrison.
Okay, that's cool.
So first kids.
First kids.
It'd be interesting to be a first kid.
It would be very interesting to be a first kid. That's why, like, I'm kind of baffled that Chelsea Clinton said that it was somewhat normal. There is nothing normal about, like, Secret Service agents all around you. Like, if I
Yeah.
think somebody's following me in Kroger, I'm, like, tripping out. Like, why is this dude following me?
And how do you have a sleepover at any point? And I guess you can have a sleepover, but how in any capacity is a sleepover normal with Secret Service and the president being right down the hall?
I wonder, though, if they actually had, like, a little secret passage like he did in the first kid to where they could go, like, hang out and chill, like, by themselves. I bet they don't.
I wonder if kids were caught, though, smoking pot and sneaking boys and sneaking girls in. They had to be, right? Kids are
Yes,
kids.
Kids are kids. I don't know why we expect them to be any different just because their parents are, you know, a well-known person. But kids are
Right.
kids.
Kids are going to be kids. Whether or not their dad is the most powerful man in the world or not, kids are still going to be kids. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these words. Stick with us.
I'm Morgan from Conversations Around the Table, and you're listening to Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Recycling right is the best way to support your local recycling program. Not everything with a recycle symbol is accepted. That's true in Central Kentucky and around the country. Dry cardboard, aluminum and steel cans, plastic bottles and jugs, and glass bottles and jars are recyclable in Lexington. Recycling Right protects Recycle Center employees and equipment. A downloadable flyer is available for many Central Kentucky communities at lexingtonky.gov/recycle.
Hey listeners, we are always looking to expand our coverage here at Lexington Community Radio, so if there is something that you think the community should know about regarding public safety, news, culture, or anything else happening here in Lexington, you can send any information or press releases to press@lexingtoncommunityradio.org.
Thursdays at 6 p.m. for Conversations Around the Table with Dale Morgan and Deborah Logan Lawson, the 2D Effect. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on Radio Lex, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LP FM, Lexington, Kentucky.
First-generation Women Achievers of the Bluegrass hosts their second annual scholarship reception on Saturday, April 11th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Corto Lima. Guest speaker is former BCTC President Dr. Augusta Julian. Tickets available online at firstgenwomenbg.org. First-generation Women Achievers of the Bluegrass supports women who are first in their families to graduate from college.
I said certified free, 7 days a week. Wet, make that me.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you, broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber is also broadcasting from her home studio. This song is a popular one, Amber.
I think it's a well-played track in my house.
It's a dirty song. It's a very sexual song.
You know, it is dirty, but at the same time, I did grow up listening to Two Live Crew, and I had to remind myself of that by going back and listening to Two Live Crew. And I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think people are going to be okay. They ain't talking about nothing we ain't done or nothing we ain't got, so.
I mean, I was holding my breath when I was coming back into the segment because I was like, oh my God, did I pull up the clean version of this song? Because if you get the dirty version, you are in trouble.
Yeah, I think we get that dismiss letter.
But this song is sweeping the nation. People are listening to it everywhere. Kylie Jenner was in it. Mm-hmm. She was absolutely hot.
Yes.
People are getting hurt doing these dance moves too, because this song's really popular on TikTok.
Yes.
And they're saying that people are trying to do the WAP, because that's the name of the song, which is kind of a mixture of doing the splits and humping the ground.
Oh, is that the WAP?
It's kind of like, that's what I kind of took the WAP as
But
being.
wasn't there like a song that come out like in, I don't know, 2016, 2017 that was called WAP? And it was like, let me see you WAP, WAP, WAP,
I thought this was,
WAP, WAP.
I thought this was called WAP.
Well, yeah, it's also called WAP, but I thought that there was like a song that come out in like 2016, 2017 that was called WAP, and there was a dance to that. So now we got WAP, 2 dances of WAP. Like, people are going to have to get specific with which WAP I'm going to have to do at dance parties now.
Dance parties. I wonder if they're playing this at school dances.
Oh my gosh. You know, I would have tore it up at Beaver.
I don't think they played songs like this though at school dances. Like at school dances, I mean, we were playing songs like this. I mean, that's what we were playing, and everybody was grabbing a hold of each other, and everybody was having a good old time.
Wait, I can't hear it. What are we listening to?
Come on, Rock a Train. Come on, Rock a Train.
Oh, yes. No, come on. We were listening to some better jams than that. Like,
can you give me one?
Oh my gosh, come on. We were listening to It Wasn't Me. That I remember the first time I heard It Wasn't Me by Shaggy, I was not banging on the bathroom floor, but I was banging on the Beaver Creek floor because I was cutting a rug, baby.
Well, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm playing it right now in the background.
Great song. I mean, if that don't make you want to just shimmy your shoulders a little bit, maybe throw you a little diamond in the air and bring it down.
We talk about the WAP being dirty, and you're saying that they played this at school dances?
Yes.
I mean, this is maybe just as dirty
It is.
It is. I mean, listen to the lyrics. I mean, this might be a bad place to play the lyrics because I don't even know what he's saying here.
Yeah, let's probably not play it.
But here we go. Listen at the course of this. I mean, he's talking about getting caught sleeping with somebody else by his woman.
Mm-hmm. And then trying to, like, tell her that she was crazy, that he really wasn't sleeping with somebody else because it wasn't him. And, like, like I don't know. Like I think the thing that kind of made me giggle the most about when people were upset about WAP is, we have had gentlemen, and I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you guys under the bus right now. You guys have been singing about dirty stuff your whole life. I mean, just like I said, Two Live Crew, man, you want to hear some dirtiness, go back and listen to Two Live Crew. You've got two beautiful women, two beautiful, powerful women who are just singing about things that, in the back of our head, we probably think about it anyways. They just put it out there.
What other kind of music did they play at school dances? I'm trying to think of something. They played one. They played this one a lot.
Which one? I can't hear.
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yes, and we all turned into strippers. Yes. Pour Some Sugar on Me. You know what? Sweet Home Alabama was always played.
Sweet Home Alabama?
At least at Beaver Creek Elementary it was. And so was Cotton Eye Joe.
That's true.
Cotton Eye Joe.
The actual dancing, though, I mean, sometimes the dancing was inappropriate. We did get our grind on at dances, and teachers hated that. Teachers hated when you grinded.
Yes.
Step away, give space.
None of us knew what we were doing, so it was like, we ain't doing nothing wrong.
I remember you, Amber, specifically had a dance in school. I mean, it was something about you taking your hands, putting them up over your head, and you would put your hands up to the sky, and you would look at your hands, and then you would just kind of move your hands, and you would watch your hands as you moved. And I know people can't see this because this is radio.
Guys, I did not do this.
But if you log onto the Facebook live stream, you will be able to see what I'm doing right now. It was and I call it the Amber Hall dance because she was Amber Hall back then. I call it the Amber Hall dance.
And honestly, I have to be sincere. I really don't think I'd done that, but I will say that I remember I was in the 8th grade, and remember we were put into a group together. And I don't remember what for, but remember we had to come up with a dance. Yes. And I remember you started doing that then, and you were laughing then. So I guess I must have really sincerely done that. Because you've been heckling me about it for 15 years.
Will says they played the cha-cha slide. I think they played the cha-cha slide a lot at weddings too. I think the cha-cha slide might be the wedding theme. It's either that or the how low can you go?
Or electric slide. We played that a lot.
What's that song called when they're like, how low can you go? All the way to the floor?
I think that's the cha-cha slide.
Is it?
Yes. I'm pretty sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the cha-cha slide.
2 hops this time.
Yeah.
3 hops this time.
Yeah. Cha-cha real smooth.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, what's that one song? Da da, do your thing.
Oh, that came way after us.
Okay, so
Cupid Shuffle.
Cupid Shuffle. Okay. So they don't play those at school dances.
I mean, no, but dude, they play that at weddings, and buddy, let me tell you, that's a good time when that song comes on.
So, did you ever get stood up at a school dance before? Did any date ever stand you up?
No, I actually, I've always been a proponent. I never invited people to dances other than one time. I took one dude to my 8th grade prom, and he had to leave early, and I remember I cried. So if you want to count that as standing me up, then yeah, I was stood up.
Okay, and that was actually going to be my next question, because I was going to ask you, has a date ever showed up with you and then just kind of left with some other people? Because I've heard of people showing up to a prom with the girl, they just take pictures, and then they leave. They leave with somebody else. They leave with somebody else. And I've even heard of people making promises, oh, I'll go to prom with you, I'll go to a dance with you, and then you end up, you make that promise, and then you have that commitment that you're going to go to the dance with them, and then you end up getting a girlfriend, and you leave the date that you promised you were going to go to the date with. You hang out with them for like 5 minutes at the beginning, and then you leave them.
Long enough to take pictures.
I would rather you just not take me.
Yeah, no, I did not invite anyone to my junior or senior prom. I had no interest. I wanted to vibe and do my own thing. And I wish they would push that instead of, oh, you have to have a date. No, you don't. Go enjoy yourself, girl, and dance on the floor. It's everybody else's date.
Yeah, you don't have to have a date to have a good time. At all. I hate when people think you have to have people with you constantly to have a good time. Like, you don't have to have a significant other to have a good time doing anything. You can go by yourself and still have fun. So, did you ever skip a school dance at all?
I tried not to because I always had such a chill time.
You did skip. You didn't go to junior prom.
No, I didn't go to junior prom. I guess I
Any
did.
regrets?
Um,
Because a lot of people say they
well,
regret it when they don't go to their
now,
prom.
it wasn't a regret, but it actually was, I guess I did lie. I got to backpedal. I had been asked to go with someone my junior year, and he did get a girlfriend. And he let me know that he was going to be taking that girl. And I was just like, you know what, buddy? I ain't going at all. So I just stayed home. Probably should have went.
Ate ice cream and watched Laguna Beach.
No, I was probably drinking a beer on my front porch, chilling by myself.
As a kid, though?
Probably.
Where'd you go to school, Louisville?
No, they smoke blunts up there. I was too poor to buy blunts in Beaver.
Well, I remember sometimes the girls would dress very inappropriately, and it was, you always got mad at the teachers that would say, they'd call the girls out saying, you can't wear that, you need to go home. And I hated that when that happened, but I'm sure.
Well, I'm so curious. Why did you hate it, Banks, when that happened?
Well, because guys want to. I mean, what are you trying to do? Get me in trouble?
Yes. You made me tell my story. I'm curious. Okay, so I know what girls used to do at dances. Like, we legitimately would dance. Like, legitimately, if you were a girl that went to a dance and you didn't dance, please hit me up, because I want to know what you done. But I am so curious right now. Got you on the spot. What do dudes do at dances? Because I feel like sometimes you guys disappear.
Well, it
and you're off in the abyss.
It depends. I remember I made out with this girl at a dance the whole time during a dance.
Oh,
jeez. It was this girl that I was dating. So I think if guys have a girlfriend, they usually try to find a place to go and make out with them.
Okay. That was such a waste of time, but
yeah,
okay.
Actually, no, at the time it was pretty nice. You know, my little 6th grade self loved it. And
my God.
Yeah, but if you are not dating somebody, you just hang out with your friends, because that's what people do at dances. You just go and you hang out, you talk to your friends. Sometimes you do get up and you do dances like the cha-cha slide and pour some sugar on me and Shaggy banging on the bathroom floor. You do dance to things like that with your friends, but yeah, I mean, we do the same things that y'all do, except we don't make it as girly as you guys do.
Okay, well, did you ever go to dances at other schools?
Not until I got into college was I going to dances that I was invited to.
I went to dances at other schools, and they were so much funner. And I don't know if it's because it was a whole new like group of dudes that you could just awkwardly like stare at, but yeah, that was nice. And they always play better music.
Well, in your head, they always play better music. And plus, what was cool about going to a dance, I'm sure, of another school was you got to be anybody you wanted to be.
Yep.
Nobody knew who you was, so you could act like you were somebody you wasn't.
Nobody knew that I danced like this.
Yeah, nobody knew you was... Did you ever take pictures at school dances?
Yes, I did. I still have my 8th grade prom pictures, and I feel so sad every time I look at them. Please tell me that you still have yours.
My 8th grade prom pictures?
8th grade prom pictures. Do you still have them?
I do. Yes.
Yes.
Man. In a box somewhere, in some tote and stored up in the attic. I do have it somewhere. But yeah, I think that school dances, it was a blast, and I'm glad that they still do it. Who knows when they're going to have a school dance in the next year.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is, man. Kids are missing out on so much. And
yes.
I wasn't a fan of the pictures at school dances. They usually made me stand on a stool because I was even smaller than what I am now. And I've learned that ever since me standing on a stool, because, you know, the Lord made me low to the ground when he created me.
Why did you say it? The Lord did not make you that low. Guys, he is not that low to the ground.
And I will say this, my height has never affected me from ever getting anything that I've ever wanted out of life. So, the next person that ever tells me to stand on a stool, I'm going to tell them where to stick that stool, because I won't. I know that some people will stand even on stools on TV because their co-anchor is taller than them.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? Either let the anchor be taller than me or don't hire me, because I'm not standing on a stool. I'm not. That's stupid.
In the 8th grade, in your prom pictures, are you on a stool? Because my date is.
Probably.
And you can see it just as plain as day.
Yes, they
him
didn't even
standing
try to
there.
cover. They didn't even try to make it look like you were. I mean, it made me look like I was standing on a stool. And the thing about it is my date really wasn't even that much taller than me.
No, like
So
he and I were like the same height.
They made the pictures look so juvenile.
They did. I guess we were juvenile, so.
And it was, yeah. And then the guy who played the music, I remember at our school,
Wait, who was that?
I don't know. I just remember I couldn't get too close because he was a big man, and he didn't smell all that great because when he sweat, it didn't smell all that good.
And buddy, do you remember how hot?
Yeah.
That's a hot, like being in that gym. I have never felt that kind of hotness before, like since then.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember it sticky and everybody was in your face? We won't have that again.
Sean Powell says, you never wanted to drink. That's where my height betrayed me.
He said dunk.
He never wanted to dunk. That's where my
Dunk.
height betrayed me. The only time I've ever wanted to dunk is when I'm playing basketball, and I don't play basketball as much as you, so I guess I never thought about it that much, Sean. But yeah, it's never really.
Well, I'm curious, like if you're gonna dunk, do you bring that out?
The only time it's ever bothered me is when somebody brings out a stool. So that's the one thing I'm not doing. I'm not standing on a stool. So I'm good with the height that I am. And
I think you're fine.
I think I'm fine.
I think you're fine.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, you know what else is fine is Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break. A little blast from the past. And since the weather is kind of koopsy koopsaw, kind of hot, kind of cold, I think this song fits the mood perfectly. So sit back, enjoy the song, enjoy a little Phantom Planet, Lonely Day, and we'll be right back after Off the Cuff's Song of the Week.
From the minute I woke up, it was gonna be a lonely, 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 lonely day. Rise and shine, rub the sleep out of my eyes, and try to tell myself I can't go back to bed. It's gonna be a lonely, 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 lonely day. Even though the sun is shining down on me, and I should feel about as happy as can be.
So Jared says Adam was the man at his grade school. Was the man at his grade school? You talking about the DJ? Because that's where it was. I don't remember. That's so long ago. I don't remember. Oh, Jared, you're saying that I was the man. Well, no, my friend, you are the man. Do you remember, Jared, I'm trying to think of something that you would know. Do you remember when we used to watch pay-per-views at Marvelous's and you said that Marvelous was the only person that you knew that had Cocoa Pebbles and I Know What You Did Last Summer soundtrack CD and a Shawn Michaels poster in his room all at the same time? I remember when you said that, that was the funniest thing ever. That was Phantom Planet, Lonely Day. You don't really hear much from Phantom Planet anymore. I remember they were the band in the early 2000s to listen to. They were huge on that TV show, The OC, which I used to like growing up, which sadly got canceled after 4 seasons. But that was Phantom Planet, a little indie rock music for your day. But ladies and gentlemen, we still got one more segment of Off the Cuff, so stick with us and we'll be right back after these words.
It's our new reality with COVID-19. The anxiety can be overwhelming. If you're feeling extra worried, you're not alone. You can still contact a mental health professional. They're ready to help you get through this. And remember, prepare, focus on the essentials. Protect, keep some space for people outside your home. And disinfect a lot. Get the facts at kycovid19.ky.gov. Prepare, protect, disinfect.
Have you been treated unfairly in housing? To know your rights, contact the Lexington Human Rights Commission. It's our goal to provide a quick resolution to your housing complaint. We're here to listen and help educate, as well as give you the help.
But Jared, do you remember though? Do you remember you saying that to me about Ryan?
File a complaint online or call 859-252-4931. We're local and there is no cost for our services. The Lexington Human Rights Commission. Your choice, your right, your home.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour, broadcasting from the WLXU studios here in Lexington. Amber is broadcasting from her home. Another black man has been shot by the police, which has sparked protest by the sports world. 29-year-old Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in his back while trying to get into his vehicle. Now, the story, it happened earlier this week, and when things happen early, you still got to wait for more information to come up and tell the story about what actually happened. But from what I gather, police were called to this apartment scene, and they saw Jacob Blake was there and that he wasn't supposed to be there. They told him to leave, and when he went to leave, he was going into his vehicle. From the stories that I read, cops were saying to turn around, show his hands, and they were saying that there was no gun in there, but there was a knife, so maybe he was going for his knife. But what happened was when his back was turned and he was in his car getting whatever he was getting or doing whatever he was doing in his car, the police shot him 7 times in his back. 7 times. If you're going to stun somebody, hurt somebody, does it take 7 shots to the back to do it?
I don't think so.
And I think that's what the problem is. I think that's why people are getting so mad. It's not
excessive force.
It wasn't the fact that they shot the man. It was the fact that they shot the man 7 times. What was the point of that?
If sincerely there was like a thought, because apparently, reports have came out that he was yielding a knife, he had a knife. I mean, and they did talk about how they tried to deploy their tasers, their stun guns, and
Right.
It did not work, which apparently is a commonality. Sometimes they do fail. But I just feel like we've got so many other alternatives. I understand you're up against a decision, and I can't make that decision. That's why I'm not a law enforcement officer. But I also understand the value of human life. And if I wanted to take somebody down, I think one good fire shot would have probably sufficed right now.
So when you say that they used their stun guns and it didn't work, did they actually
That's just reports that I had seen come through, was that stun guns were deployed and they did not work. It could be that they missed the target. It could be that when the prongs went out, maybe they got, again, I don't know a whole lot about them.
Right.
Maybe there was a malfunction when the prongs went out. I just know that there are so many alternative ways that this could have been handled. And
Right.
I think we're living in this day and age where they could have fired a shot up in the air and everybody would have got on the ground.
Right. And that's a good point. And I heard that about the stun gun too, that they tried to use a stun gun, and it made me think, well, if they used the stun gun on this guy, and it was a fast situation too, police officers are human beings too.
Yes.
And they don't want to die. They don't want to get shot. And they didn't know what this guy was going into his vehicle for. If somebody was going into their vehicle, I would have thought, oh my God, he's getting into his vehicle to shoot me. I don't care how tall he is, if he's got to stand on a stool or not. I don't care what color he is. If he's going into his car to grab something and there's been some words between us, I'm thinking he's going into his car to get a weapon. So I can understand the thought process. But what's baffling me is the amount of times they shot the man. And if they did connect with him with the taser and it didn't faze him at all, I mean, that just kind of proves that this man was trying to get into his truck to get his knife to cause harm to these police officers.
Well, but I don't think that there was even like a connection. Like, I don't think that like they were able to even like send voltage out, was what I had gathered from what I was reading, was that there was no connection made whatsoever. And Sean Powell just said something on the thread that I absolutely 100% agree with. Body cams are so important. And I 100% agree with this because I think that they should be available to everyone.
Yeah.
Because you know what? A public official, which would be a police officer, because you are serving the public, we have the right to know. We really do. And I think that's why when we see some of these body cams come out,
why not have body cams? This police department did not have any body cams. I think Yeah,
it's 2020. Why do we not have body cams?
Right. There needs to be body cams because cops with no body cams, they have the power to do whatever they want, and it's their word against the victims.
And guess what, baby? If we wanted to go be police officers, we could. All you have to have is 60 hours completed and be able to run a mile in so many minutes.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I could go sign up. Y'all don't want me to be a police officer.
It's not
and
hard
I don't
to be
want some of y'all being police officers.
That's the thing. That's the thing. These police officers, it's not hard.
And I think we should make clear that I respect all police officers. I do. But there are some, just like with every profession, that are bad. And I hate that it ruins, I hate that it taints the picture that we have of all police officers, because some of them, they're great. I've dealt with some really great ones, but you and I have also dealt with some really bad ones.
I've dealt with some really bad ones before in my life. I'll tell you that. And it does...
it scares you, and it taints the way that you view them all.
It does. When you run across one, it's usually a really bad one, and it taints the whole viewpoint that you have on the whole force. But the man was not killed. Blake suffered multiple injuries, including one shot to the arm, damage to his kidney, liver, and spinal cord. They're saying that he is paralyzed from the waist down, and they don't know if he's going to be able to walk again. His 3 sons was in the vehicle at the time he was shot. 3, 5, and 8 were their ages. Very sad, confusing situation, and I hope that they do figure it out. Like I was saying at the beginning of the segment, it did spark outcry nationally with sports. A lot of sports took a stand. The Milwaukee Bucks refused to get out on the court and play the game of basketball. A lot of other teams followed suit. The WNBA did it. A lot of Major League Baseball teams postponed their games. A lot of sports figures postponed their game. They didn't want to play. I think even the NBA wanted to cancel their entire season to protest for the cause of just police brutality against black people. Now, the NBA met today and they decided to still play, so I guess that money is more important to them, because I heard that they were going to cut their salaries if they didn't play, so woo! Got to play if they won't cut that salary. But
it's all about that money, baby.
About that money. But yeah, it's a very sad and it's a very confusing situation. And cops, police departments, you need body cams. That way you can always have a record, good or bad.
Hey,
and if you are as good as you say you are, and you are not breaking the laws like you say you're not, then why not wear a body cam?
Exactly. And you know what? We've got a day and age now where we have this thing we can carry around with us everywhere we go. If you don't have a cam, baby, turn that on. That could be the difference between your word versus somebody else's. Right there. We all have them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 60 seconds left of the program, so I want to go ahead and use this time to tell you you can listen to all of our previous episodes by searching for Off the Cuff with Adam Banks on podcast. We are available wherever podcast streaming is available. That's iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. You can also follow Amber, the co-host, on social media at Ambu447. You could follow the host, me, Adam Banks, at The Adam Banks on all social media. You can download the Radio Lex app to stream us live. We're live every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU, and we'll be back next Thursday from 4 to 5. We'll catch you down the road. Thank you, guys. See you.